not really December 4th, but I am Jackson Bird, and this is Vlogmas. So in today's 5th day of Vlogmas video, I traveled home from Orlando back to New York City, and let me show you the extent of the footage that I filmed of that day. Made it back in New York. Yep. So I got really tired after the theme park, as you might have noticed by how the videos sort of slowed down and got out of sync. So I thought, since I don't really have any footage of the day to show you, that for today, I might reply a little bit to some of the comments that I've gotten from Vlogmas so far. Mostly what I want to reply to is that I've gotten some questions about traveling while trans. This is something that I've made a video about before, but it was several years ago. I'll link to it there. It's called Traveling and Networking While Trans. It's kind of long. There are jump links down in the description box, so I broke it down by subject, and you can like click exactly to the part of the video that you want to see. But I was in a different place in my life when I made that. The world was in a different place. So I thought I would just talk a little bit about what it's like for me now. I think the first thing I've got to say is that as a trans person walking in the world, I have a lot of privilege. I am a white, able-bodied, usually straight cis-passing person. Straight cis-passing male person. So like, yeah, I walk through the world and usually get treated with all the privilege of a cis-straight white man. That's not always. Most of the time I'm assumed to be a teenager, which can have some weird consequences sometimes. Not only do you get people who like could be your age yelling at you and like chastising you, sometimes you get teenagers flirting with you, and sometimes you attract the attention of very scary people who are attracted to you because you look so young. So it's not good, but it is better than necessarily looking my age, because if people thought that I was my age, then they might sometimes read me as a masculine woman, or as queer, perhaps, and those are two situations that would be pretty dangerous. So I'm privileged that that doesn't happen that often. The point that I'm making with all of this is that I'm not the best person to ask about what it is like to travel while trans, because I am not visibly trans. That said, traveling is one of the times when I am a little bit more on high alert, because it is a time when you are presenting identification, people are looking at you, they're putting you through body scanners, they're having to assess your gender when they put you through that. So it's like your gender and your body are being tested in very vulnerable ways by people with a lot of authority who have the power to make things very uncomfortable for you, put you in a dangerous situation, or possibly criminalize you. So it's an intense time when you are going through airport security. And to this day, when I'm about to walk through security, I'm not sure if I'm going to get misgendered. And it's not that I care about getting misgendered from a like, oh, it'll make me feel bad kind of way. I care because I'm trying to think about what situation I'm going to be put in. Like, if I'm going to have to get a pat down, are they going to bring a man or a woman, and how should I address that? Should I say anything? Should I just go with it? I don't think I've been read as female for quite a while, but I definitely, when I looked more androgynous, I guess you could say, I just went with whoever came up to me. If they called a female security person, then fine, that's what we were doing. If they called a man, that's what we were doing. More often than them being unsure of my gender, I got asked my age again. I often got asked how old I was before I went into the backscatter, which is the big scary one where they scan you. Funny thing about that, you have to be 12 to go through it. So I was getting read as younger than 12 regularly while at the airport. So that's fun, traveling for business as an almost 30-year-old. Right now I'm just rambling. I don't really have tips. This is what happens when I don't script things, guys. Anything I'm gonna say is just what I personally do. So I think my advice is that you have to be familiar with what's going to happen in the situation, which I can talk about a little bit more, and then you have to decide how you would feel most comfortable and safe reacting. So for me, I try to sort of like butch it up and make sure I've talked in some way that hopefully the TSA agents can hear, so that they can hear my lower voice. For trans feminine people, you might want to do anything to avoid speaking, because I know we tend to have the opposite insecurities around our voices for trans masculine people who've been on hormones anyways. That way, hopefully, they will know that I'm a guy. But even then, like, is that the best case scenario? Because when they have to press the man or the woman button, which is what they do with the big backscatter, if they press the man one, it's possible some, like, heat patches that they see might not be there. And if you are someone who has not had top surgery and they read you as male and you go through, they might see some, like, heat in that area. They might see a foreign object be in your binder. I don't think that ever happened to me when I was binding and I was read as male, but it did happen a couple of times when they read me as female, which I thought was weird because, like, shouldn't it just read as a bra? For some reason, it flagged something for them, and I had a couple of awkward times having to talk to a woman TSA agent and sort of be like, yeah, it's a sports bra. I've always thought that if I had to explain it in some way, especially if I was read as male, I might say it was like a back brace, like some type of posture thing. I mean, you can't just say it's a compression vest, which is totally a thing marketed to all genders that men do wear for all kinds of medical or cosmetic reasons, so you could just say that. A couple of other tips that I would have: try to go to a bathroom that is not anywhere near security or near your gate. This is in case you got read as a gender that you are not while you were going through TSA, going through security, you know, and maybe some people who are in security are going to be on your flight. What if they're sitting next to you? What if they heard some awkwardness going back and forth about your gender? And then, you know, who knows, they could be transphobic sitting next to you. And same thing with, like, if you're going to the bathroom near the gate and anything happens there, or they see you go to one bathroom instead of another, and then there's some sort of awkwardness on the plane. I mean, you're going to be stuck in a metal tube with all of these strangers, and any one of those random ones sitting next to you could not be comfortable with you. Which is terrible that we have to think about that, but it's something to consider. And, you know, I don't usually do this. I usually remember as soon as I get into a bathroom, and then I'm like, oh yeah, what is the law about trans people in bathrooms in this state? So if you were traveling to different states in the US, maybe look up what their current policies are for trans people in bathrooms and know your rights. That way, if they do protect you and anyone harasses you, then you're able to know what your rights are to respond to them, or if you want to contact authorities in any way. Don't really advise that. And if they don't protect trans people, as is more likely the case, I don't know how scared you should be? I am really bad at giving advice when I don't think this through and script it. So maybe we're just gonna end this here, but if you have particular questions about traveling while trans that I did not address in the other video I mentioned that is linked down below, if you still have questions after that, you can leave them in the comments and I will try to answer them better in writing. Perhaps. Like I said, I'm really not the best person to be giving this advice. You should definitely, I think, look more towards people who are out there who have talked about their experiences who are more visibly trans or have been at certain points in their lives, or people of color. All the things that I am not that give me the privilege to usually go through security without issues, even if I'm very scared about potential things happening. Boy, everyone's been loving how cheery and jolly these Christmas Vlogmas videos have been. Made a bit of a sharp turn on this one, back to my normal content, but I guess that's what happens when I do a bad job at taking you along with me. Also, I was on a plane for most of that day, so there wasn't too much to see. But anyways, I've got to go now, but thank you all so much for watching Vlogmas so far and for all of your very kind comments, and I hope this was at least marginally helpful for someone. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.